Hope you're doing well. I hope you're blessed. I hope everything is going well in your life. I want you to continue to pray for those missionaries that we have in IAGM, the ones that we as a church here are supporting. We have Emma in India. Thankfully, we just received a gift to help with his tuition. Hopefully by this weekend, which would have been last weekend for you, much of that will be covered in the door offering and the meal that we're providing for the church. But we're excited for him and proud of him and what he's achieving there. And it's amazing to see a young man come from an orphanage that Jim and Emily, actually my son-in-law and daughter, were there. Saw him as a young child and then took up with their own family the college education along with many of us in IAGM, and then to see that furthered now as he's going on for his master's degree and has hopefully a profound effect on the medical industry there in Uganda. That's what we're hoping and believing. He certainly is charting a good course while he's in school. We're thankful for him. He's got graduating with honors from his bachelor's program and going on into his master's program. He's been well recognized, so we're thankful. I want you to just take a moment and think about the fact, a verse that I don't know of any other verse that speaks to it in such a way, but in Psalm 68 and verse 5. And this comes to mind to me because of children like Emma, and also my grandkids that have been adopted from Uganda. He's a father to the fatherless. Now, that may not stand out to you, but it has a tender spot in my heart. My little Evie, Evelyn, her mother died shortly after childbirth, and Jim and Emily took her in, and today she's a young lady and loves to sing and loves to dance and loves to act, and such a blessing. And we have Avon, who's her brother, who was there in the same school, and after the mother died was so despondent, and just to see that God provided in such a way for him through Jim and Emily, and then you have Jensen, and then that little boy that means so much to us, Ezekiel, and just he's a father to the fatherless. Now think about that God places it on the heart of someone who is not related to them, simply because of their love, that, and whether saved or unsaved, that God himself has placed the compassion that he places in the heart of another person to care for others. And for my son-in-law and daughter, it was Christ that moved in their heart to do such a thing. And every day I'm in awe and amazed and blessed. But he's a father to the fatherless. One of the statistics that I read recently is that the United States leads the world globally in fatherless homes. Think about that. Think about the ramifications of that. Oftentimes we talk about crime, or we talk about drug addiction, we talk about so many of the issues of our culture. But what we don't ever discuss, because it's not quote unquote politically proper to discuss it, is the responsibility that men should have for their family and women. But the majority of the problem lies in the heart of men. And I'm sorry, it's not a biological issue. It's not that you have evolved to the point where you just want to, how can I say it, spread your DNA as far as you can. That's not it. How about this? You just simply don't want to be responsible. And the harm and hurt that does in the heart of a child, specifically a child that doesn't have anybody that stands in the gap for them. I thank God that he's a father to the fatherless. I really believe that this is what the church should be about, that we should be caring for that population that is such an at-risk population. And we'll go into more of this tonight in service. But just consider that today. If you're a grandparent, remember what Paul said to Timothy. He said, the sincere faith which you first dwelt in your mother Lois and your grandmother Eunice. So think about that. Or your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice in 1 Timothy 1:5. Just take a moment and think about it. How important were those two fixtures in their life, in the life of Timothy? That what they had within them kind of melted into his life. He's a father to the fatherless. This is why pure religion in James 1:27 is to care for widows and orphans. We can't talk about loving the Lord and not loving those people in the greatest need. It's interesting that throughout the Old Testament, part of God's whole economy, the whole social structure of Israel, the whole point behind the tithe was not just for the Levite, but it was for the orphans, the aliens, and the widows. It was how God took care of people. It's why he had the corners of the field were to be left for the poor, for those people that didn't have. But God cares, and he teaches us in our heart to do so also. I encourage you to just take a moment, thank God for the family that you have in your life, and look beyond those borders. Perhaps there's some that you can be a kind and gentle influence in their lives today. The God that lives in our heart is a father to the fatherless. Till next time, friends, God bless you.